suddenly my eyes were open to what a fool I was being, how absolutely entitled and ungrateful I had become. Just to see this pattern that I had achieved my goals and was feeling miserable about it. It's this active choice to celebrate all the things that have been happening no matter what. Hi, I'm Beki Eakins, business mindset and lifestyle coach for occupational therapists. I focus on creating a freedom-based online business, helping OTs to package up their skills in unique and exciting offers that feel so good that they sell with ease in the online space. Since leaving the profession of OT, I have now worked with hundreds of clients online, helping them to create a life they feel inspired by. In this podcast, I will talk about the lifestyle goals, mindset, and strategy you need to create your own life of freedom. Gratitude. Oh, I love talking about gratitude. And basically, it has changed my life doing gratitude. But first of all, just at the start of this, I really want to say that I thought I was doing gratitude for many years. And I would occasionally write things down in a journal. I occasionally remembered to feel grateful when good things happened. I would say it out loud. And for a few years, if you'd asked me if I'd done gratitude, I would have said yes. But I had no idea how ineffective it was and how I wasn't really truly feeling it. And that made all the difference. So quite soon in growing my business, my income and our savings meant that my partner didn't need to work for 3 to 4 months every summer. And we took this time off together every year as the kids. They've got back-to-back home education festivals that we've always loved to go to. It's just a chance for them to be very free, stay up late, party with the friends. And it just meant that we could take these really long holidays, just one festival after another. And we'd either travel around the UK or maybe we'd go further afield in our camper van. So this one summer, I was running the business from the camper van and I was traveling with 2 kids, my partner at the time and a puppy. And I was working around about 20 hours per week. It was a bit tricky, I'll be honest about that. And I'm going to talk about the whole van trip that year in another episode, just because it's such a story on its own, really. People just assume when you're free that everything goes well and you travel off into the sunset in a camper van and it's all perfect. But it's not like that. So watch out for a van life podcast episode coming up soon. But it was a challenge on this occasion and my income wasn't as high as normal. So I was still making money, but I wasn't hitting the big goals that I had set for myself. So I'm a high achiever kind of person. I want to be always aiming for big things. And the financial goals I had set, they were pretty high, particularly for somebody who was spending all day, every day on a beach or at a festival, being very present with my kids, and my business was still relatively new. So during this time, I actually became incredibly stressed and unhappy. I was mad with myself. I had a really negative self-talk and I was constantly berating myself for what I hadn't achieved. So when a sale came in, I would immediately tell myself that it wasn't big enough or good enough and I wasn't enough. And I focused on the lack and the scarcity constantly. And I just really felt the mounting pressure of being the sole earner. And to be honest, I had an absolute crap 3 months. Just being totally honest, we had some great times, but I just couldn't get past what was in my head. I did do gratitude, but it was a half-hearted attempt. And I just had no idea really how to raise the energy back up whilst I was doing it. So I can remember having a conversation with my coach. It was quite a big conversation, and I think I was in tears at the time. And for a moment, she reflected back some of the things that I was saying. I've not achieved this. I've not made this. I'm not performing at my best. And then she just reflected back to me my lifestyle, that I was traveling, I was with my family, I was spending every day on the beach or at a festival, got 3 months off, just traveling about. And actually, the lifestyle I had created, most of the world would be envying. We had the freedom to wake up when we wanted, to do what we wanted as a family, and we just had the opportunity to have a really good time. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I just realized, because I'd already achieved that first goal. So my first goal really was being able to work from anywhere and create a life where I could travel and live in the van. And those were they were dreams I held for years. And yet, without realizing it, as soon as I'd achieved it, I'd already been focusing on much bigger goals. And I forgot to celebrate the moment that I was actually in right now and the achievements that I'd already made. So the level of freedom in my life at that time was immense compared to how I used to live a few years before, when I was forced to work, in a job. And it's so easy for these successes to creep in, that it's a really common pattern for new entrepreneurs to forget to feel the gratitude. So I reminded myself of previous years. I was an OT in the NHS, and you have to beg for holiday. Some workplaces are better than others, but I've always believed in long holidays. 3 weeks is a minimum, really, for me, taken as leave in one go. I've always wanted to, if I'm traveling, I'd rather just travel, because so much of the stress with going away is due to the packing, is due to the actual travel, and winding down from work and then winding back up again as you start thinking about returning home. I've always felt personally that you need a long time. It's probably a reflection of how much stress I used to feel, but I always valued this long holiday. And many workplaces just would not allow me to take 3 weeks off at the same time, or 4 weeks off. So, it always just felt like a fight. And then not just that, but we had to coincide it with my partner's annual leave as well. And it just used to be so tricky to arrange. And then there was the finances, it always felt like it was a push for us to go away. And so, just then I realized, I was like, okay, I'm here 3 months. We're staying where we want. We're not just staying in the camper van. We'd actually hired Airbnbs and homes as well to break up the journey. We were living this life that I had previously just dreamed of. And here I was moaning about it. I couldn't actually believe it. Suddenly my eyes were open to what a fool I was being, how absolutely entitled and ungrateful I had become, just to see this pattern that I had achieved my goals and was feeling miserable about it. And after working with so many others, I have noticed this pattern, and it's particularly obvious with high achievers, because they just focus on one thing. And if their achievements don't match that one particular mark, then they berate themselves. They're mad with themselves, and they class themselves as a failure. And it's this pattern that actually causes us to live more in a scarcity and poverty kind of mindset. And of course, what we focus on is what's going to keep happening. So the more we berate ourselves and focus on this negative energy, the more it keeps coming back to us. So the journey for everybody is different, and we all have different skills and learnings to collect and gather along the way. And your timeline will reflect your own personal needs. I can't predict how long it's going to take you. And you can't predict. So one of the things I've found is we need to learn to look for the achievements that you have made, for the growth you've experienced, and get into a really good habit of celebrating the skills and the growth on a daily basis. It's this active choice to celebrate all the things that have been happening no matter what, because very often we just skip things and we don't realize what masses of learning that we've just had, or masses of mindset changes. You know, for some of my clients, posting a photograph of themselves on social media, that is a big thing. And imagine when I ask them to post a video of themselves or to go live. Like, for some people, these can be really big hurdles. And when somebody actually achieves a goal like that, it's definitely worth celebrating. And sometimes the things that we need to celebrate aren't even as obvious as that. You know, it might just be that you've been absorbing knowledge. It might just be that your vision is clear, or you've created clarity. But there's always going to be these moments. I recorded a mindset meditation, one that you can do overnight. Very powerful in terms of helping you create the confidence, the self-belief, and deal with any money mindset issues. I use these kind of overnight meditations all the time. I found them incredibly powerful. So I've created a very special one, and I'm giving it for free to all of my podcast listeners. You can download it on the show notes. So for me, the holiday was a pivotal moment. It was a time when I really realized that I needed to tackle gratitude in a different way, in a deeper way, and make it integral to my life. It was the moment when I started the daily gratitude process that I still do to this day. And it's just changed the whole energy of who I am. It's helped me to create much bigger results in my lifestyle and in my business. So this daily practice has changed my whole life, and it is literally one of the most simple things you can do to work on your own energetics. If you want a copy of this gratitude, it's actually on the first page of my website, which is www.bekieakins.com. If you're just there on that first page and scroll right down to the bottom, you can download that gratitude workbook there. But I'll also leave a link on the show notes. So I will describe it for you now. This is what I do every single day. In actual fact, I do it twice a day because I found it so helpful. So I have 2 gratitude groups. But you want to get a group of friends or like-minded people together, maybe about 2 or 3. You don't want too many because it will take a lot longer for you to listen. Choose the people carefully, as they need to have the right energy for this. They need to want to do it. It's a big commitment, and they've really got to be invested in doing it with you. Set up a messaging chat. We use WhatsApp, but you can use whatever you want. And you want to be able to voice note every day. Every morning, start with 2 minutes of gratitude. So 2 minutes. It's going to force you into stepping into a new energy, because you're going to reel off the most obvious things in about the first 30 seconds, maybe the first minute. And then after that, you're really going to be digging a bit more deeply for your gratitude, which is really good, because this is when we start to get the bigger things. And then next, describe your day as if it has already happened and the great things that occurred. So I use this as a chance to set my intention, like, oh, I spent the day with the kids and I was fully present. We had fun playing games and that kind of thing. Then the last minute is spent feeling gratitude for the things in the future that you want but haven't even happened yet. So this is a lot of fun, because this is where we get to visualize and walk around our future life. Just walking around the life of your dreams and really allowing yourself to feel this deep appreciation of what what life you've created. And it's fantastic. It's a beautiful thing to do every day. So if you take the time to do this practice every day and really do it, as in raise your emotions, really feel the energy of the gratitude, it's going to be more life-changing than any practice I've ever done before. It's so powerful. In the last house I had, we'd got this river in the bottom of the garden, and every day I would walk down to the river, no matter what the weather, and I would do this gratitude. And I've just been rewarded with the most beautiful views, sunrises, shooting stars. I can remember just looking up a few times and just seeing shooting stars and just feeling so special in that moment. And starting my day absolutely filled with joy from doing this gratitude. I just love combining my gratitude process with nature. So I still choose to go outside as often as I can. When I do it, it just feels like it's a moment of me with nature and just feeling gratitude. And when we want to create change in our life, to change the energetics, it's so important. So if you've already got a business and you feel like you're not moving forwards, you're not signing up clients, you're not growing, it's going to be energetics. If you're taking action and you're working on strategy, it will be energetics. And this is why it's such a powerful practice. Your life is literally a reflection of your habits. So starting the day with a habit that's going to reap abundance and good mood is a pretty good thing to do. So since doing the gratitude, my happiness has increased massively. And actual fact, I've had some massive life changes during this time. And yet my mood, obviously I have dips, but the gratitude really helps me to focus and just ground myself back in what's good. I think the fact that I do nature as well at the same time, it's so at the minute it's like, oh, I'm so grateful for the trees as they're changing color, and it's just all of these parts of nature that just capture my imagination and help me ride through some of these difficult waves. Now, the other thing to say about this is that my relationship with my gratitude ladies, who I do this with daily, has deepened so much. We are so well connected now. So the first group of gratitude people, we're best friends. We've been best friends, probably about 15 to 20 years. And but we weren't present every day in each other's lives. I mean, when we were in our 20s, we used to see a lot of each other, but we would not speak that often to each other. So the fact that we all intentionally connect every morning in this gratitude has completely transformed our friendships. And we're supporting ourselves and each other in ways that has been so transformational for personal growth, because we are talking about our lives every day, and we didn't know that much detail in the past, so we were perhaps less effective at supporting each other. But yeah, even from a friendship perspective, this has been life-changing. The other thing with it is listening to the gratitude that my friends say. It also opens my mind to different things that I'm also grateful for. So one person I know will very often be grateful for fresh vegetables, and the way she describes them always makes me think, oh, it's so lovely to have these fresh vegetables. Or that she'll describe the warmth of the sun on a cold day, or and just other things that perhaps I'd forgotten to feel grateful for. So I find that very helpful. So if you are a high achiever yourself, you may well realize that you are actually living the life now that some time ago was just a dream. And yet you notice as soon as you've achieved it, you're so focused on the next goal that you've already forgotten to appreciate where you are at right now. So there's nothing like keeping you stuck more than when we focus on the lack. So what we want to do is breathe more energy into the gratitude. We want to choose where we place our focus and the grateful energy. So we are literally breathing energy into your dreams instead of on the lack. So if you want a reminder of how to do that gratitude process, don't forget to download the workbook from my website or show notes. And the biggest thing to take from this is not to just do the gratitude, but to actually feel it in every cell of your body, to make it a daily habit and just to prioritize this for your well-being. And I would love to hear how you find this process. If you are an OT with 3 to 10 hours per week spare, then the OT Yourself to Freedom membership is best for you. It will teach you how to create a business, an online freedom style business, but in an affordable way. And this is best for those of you who haven't got the time to really go for it. If you have the time to go for it and you want to achieve bigger results in a short space of time, what you're looking for is the OT Freedom Collective. This is for OTs who've got 10 hours a week or more and you're just really keen to get big results. That's where you're going to be closely supported by our team for a 6-month period. It will be intensive. You'll learn everything you need to create this freedom style business. And the biggest word that people say about it is that it's life-changing.